What if your mind had malware and someone else installed it? You wouldn't notice anything at first. You go about your day making choices, having conversations, but those choices wouldn't be yours. The malware rewrote your instincts. It made you say yes when you meant no. Apologize when you were the one betrayed. Trust the wrong person twice. This isn't science fiction. This is what manipulation feels like. And the worst part, you don't even realize it's happening. Let me ask you something. Have you ever helped someone and regretted it later? Felt like someone guilt-tripped you into doing them a favor? Stayed quiet in an argument, even though you were right? That quiet doubt you felt after? That's not your weakness. That's someone else's strategy working. People don't stumble into manipulation. They are trained into it over years. By families, friends, and media, even romantic partners. Not always out of malice, but always out of control. And if you don't learn to see it, you'll be trapped by it. This video is for the people who are tired of being used, silenced, confused, tired of playing by rules they didn't write. And today, we're learning from the man who revealed those rules centuries ago, Niccolò Machiavelli. He didn't sugarcoat power. He mapped it. He didn't ask how people should behave. He asked how they do behave.
And what he uncovered is still being used against you today. This won't be a motivational pep talk. This will be a field guide for psychological survival. You'll learn the subtle weapons manipulators use, the psychological openings they look for, and most importantly, how to shut those doors forever. Because once you see the strings, you can cut them. You're not just living life. You're performing in a play you didn't audition for. The lights feel warm. The script sounds familiar. But every scene feels a little off. And then it hits you. Someone else has written your lines. That's how real manipulation works. Not with commands, not with shouting, but with invisible expectations. Tiny pushes in just the right places, until your decisions are no longer yours. Here's the truth. Manipulators never say out loud. They don't want control over your actions. They want control over your instincts. Once they can predict your emotional reactions, they own your future. And most of the time, you help them do it. Let's break down the 3 emotional vulnerabilities that manipulators exploit. You're the nice one, the helper, the peacekeeper, the fixer. You were taught maybe by parents, teachers, or culture that love is earned. That approval equals safety. So when someone offers praise, you crave it. You align your choices to get more of it, even if it costs you your time, energy, or boundaries. Manipulators don't flatter. They bait. This one's sneakier. You say yes, because no feels selfish. You cancel plans because someone sounded sad. You forgive too quickly, too often, and with no real change. Manipulators don't need to argue, they just have to sigh, or say, I guess I'll just do it alone. And suddenly you're back under their spell. You weren't being kind, you were being conditioned. This is the deepest wound, and the hardest to admit. Maybe you've stayed in a relationship far past its expiration date, tolerated a toxic friend, put up with a boss who knew just how to keep you small. Why? Because loneliness feels scarier than manipulation. Fear doesn't keep you safe, it keeps you stuck. A friend asks you for help again. Even though they never return the favor, you say yes? Why? They need me. Your partner criticizes your boundaries and tells you it's because they love you. You second-guess your instinct. Why? I don't want to lose them. You give someone your trust. You can later wonder how they got so much access. You blame yourself. Why? I should have known better. This is not your fault. But it is your responsibility to fix. Machiavelli saw all this in 1513. Men judge more by their eyes than by their hands. All can see, few can understand. He understood that power doesn't come from being right. It comes from appearing right. Manipulators know this. They don't need to be honest, just convincing. And most people would rather be comforted by a lie than confronted by a truth. So while you're trusting them, they're calculating you. But here's the good news. Once you know the blueprint, you can reverse engineer it. You can identify the tactics, interrupt the pattern, and reclaim your emotional independence. It's not easy, but neither is being someone's emotional puppet. And in the next segment, we're going even deeper, with 3 real-world stories that will help you spot manipulation in action and see yourself in the reflection. Sometimes we understand the lesson only after we've lived through the pain. So I want to introduce you to 3 people. They're not real, but their stories are made of real emotions, real patterns. And if you've ever felt used, cornered, or confused, you'll see yourself in one of them. Case 1. Emma. The approval addict Emma was the glue of every group. Always checking in, always making plans, always saying, "Let me know if you need anything," and people did. They needed rides, help moving, a shoulder to cry on at 2 a.m. What did Emma need? She didn't know, because being needed was her identity. One day, Emma got sick, really sick. She asked a friend to bring soup. The reply, "Oh no, I've got so much going on. But feel better, okay?" That's when Emma realized she had built a life where everyone took and no one gave. She wasn't being generous. She was being emotionally exploited because her need for approval was louder than her self-respect. Case 2. Mark. The guilt machine Mark was raised to be the good son. He didn't talk back. He didn't complain. He did what was expected. To tell him how overwhelmed she was, how no one helped her, how he was the only one who cared, he canceled his plans. Again, when Mark started dating someone new, his mom got sick every weekend he tried to visit. She wasn't cruel, she was just sad, and guilt did the rest. Mark's entire adult life was shaped by obligation. His decisions weren't free, they were filtered through emotional debt. Case 3. Tara. The fearful lover, Tara's boyfriend, wasn't abusive. At least, not in the way she thought abuse looked. He didn't hit, he didn't scream, but he always reminded her, "No one else will ever love you like I do." When she wanted to start a business, he said, "Why don't you focus on being more supportive first?" When she tried to set boundaries, he'd go cold for days. Silent treatment, disapproval, withdrawal, and Tara, terrified of being alone, would fold. It wasn't until a friend asked, "When was the last time you felt safe in that relationship?" that she realized the truth. She wasn't loved. She was controlled by fear dressed as devotion. Emma, Mark, and Tara all had different lives. But one thing in common, they handed someone else the remote control to their emotions. And once that happens, you're not living, you're performing. But here's what they all eventually did, and what you can do too. They woke up, they saw the script, and they rewrote it. These stories aren't just cautionary tales, they're mirrors. If any part of you whispered, "That sounds familiar," then good. Because the next step isn't shame, it's strategy. That's exactly what we're diving into next. How? Machiavelli's ancient insights reveal the tactics being used against you today. Machiavelli never asked, "What's the right thing to do?" He asked, "What works?" Too many that made him dangerous. To the wise, he was a map. Because where others wrote poetry about virtue and honor, Machiavelli wrote blueprints about power, manipulation, and perception. His most famous quote, "Men judge more by their eyes than their hands. All can see, few can touch." Translation: people care more about what seems true than what is true. They trust the actor over the truth teller, the polished image over the raw one. Manipulators already know this. It's why your ex was great at apologies but never changed. It's why toxic bosses say we're like a family, while exploiting your loyalty. Here's some of his most uncomfortable advice. It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. Everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you really are. The promise given was a necessity of the past. The word broken is a necessity of the present. It wasn't telling you how to live ethically. It was warning you how people really operate, especially those who seek control. In the age of filters, reels, influencers, and curated personalities, the world is Machiavellian. People are judged by highlight reels, not character. Loyalty is manipulated, truth is twisted, and if you don't understand the game, you are being played. So what do? Do you become manipulative too? No, you become aware, strategic, emotionally armored. In the next segment, we're breaking down 5 manipulation tactics and exactly how to diffuse each one before it takes root in your life. You don't need to be in a toxic relationship or a political campaign to face manipulation. You face it in everyday conversations, in meetings, at dinner tables. even in DMIs. So let's break down 5 manipulation tactics you've probably encountered, maybe even today, and more importantly, how to neutralize them. Tactic 1. You're overreacting. Gaslighting. This one is subtle and sinister. You express a valid concern, and someone says, "You're too sensitive. You always make things a big deal." That's not what I meant. How to disarm it. Repeat what you experience clearly and calmly. I'm not overreacting. I'm reacting to my experience. You don't get to rewrite it. Gaslighting relies on making you doubt your senses. Don't debate tanker and reality. Have you ever been gaslit and realized it too late? Drop your story in the comments. You'll be surprised how many others share your experience. And if this is speaking to you, hit like so YouTube knows this message matters. Tactic 2. After all I've done for you, guilt debt. This sounds like love, but it's not. It's manipulation with a memory, favor used like a contract. I supported you back then, and this is how you treat me? How to disarm it? Gratitude should never be weaponized. Say, I appreciate what you did, but that doesn't obligate me to act against my own well-being. Ever had someone hold past kindness over your head? Comment I owe nothing below if you've walked away from guilt debt. Tactic 3. Only I understand you. Isolation charm, they tell you. You don't need anyone else. They don't get you like I do. It sounds romantic. It's actually step 1 of emotional isolation. How to disarm it. Be suspicious of anyone who separates you from your tribe. Healthy love connects. Control isolates. Say if our connection is real, it won't need to erase others to survive. If you've ever left a controlling relationship and found your voice again, write "I'm back" in the comments. Tactic 4. I just need you for one more thing. Endless favor loop. You help once, then again, then it's expected. If you say no, you're the bad guy. How to disarm it. Recognize the cycle. Set hard limits. Say, I've helped when I could. I can't this time, man. That doesn't make me the villain. If this video is helping you set boundaries, tap subscribe. This channel is your toolkit for psychological self-defense. Tactic 5. Fine, forget it. Active-aggressive control. This is when people pretend not to care, while punishing you emotionally. Silent treatment. Sarcasm. Withdrawal. How to disarm it. Call it what it is. Not aggressively, not emotionally, just clearly. It sounds like you're upset, but not expressing it directly. I'm open to a real conversation, not games. Manipulators hate directness. It ruins their rhythm. Every tactic loses power the moment you name it, because manipulation thrives in silence. But when you call it out, you break the cycle. Which of these 5 have you experienced the most? Drop the number in the comments. Your voice helps others feel seen. And if you're finding strength in this clarity, don't stop now. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications, because next, we're building your full psychological defense system. Recognizing manipulation is the first step, but knowing isn't enough. You need emotional immunity, a kind of mental armor that protects you in real time. Here's the truth no one tells you. Armor isn't coldness, it's clarity. Don't stop being compassionate, you stop being compromised. Start by studying yourself. Ask, when do I feel most vulnerable? What triggers make me fold? When do I say yes but feel resentment afterward? Track those patterns. That's your emotional blueprint, and every manipulator is trying to read it before you do. When you observe instead of obey, you disrupt their advantage. This doesn't mean apathy. It means holding space between stimulus and response. When someone flatters, you pause. When someone guilts, you breathe. When someone pressures, you listen, but don't lean. Strategic detachment means feeling everything, but choosing what to act on. That's emotional intelligence at its highest level. Manipulators thrive on patterns. They expect you to react the same way every time, so change the pattern. If they expect your apology, pause. If they expect you to chase, wait. If they expect emotional chaos, or for calm. Unpredictability forces manipulators to confront reality. Without their script, they fall apart. Consistency and values. Unpredictability and emotional response. That's power. The more solid your identity, the less sway anyone has over you. Know your values. Define your non-negotiables. Live by your standards, not by other people's approval. Because the manipulator doesn't just target your emotions. They target your sense of self. The stronger that becomes, the less they can shape it. The less you need to prove who you are, the more powerful you become. You will still feel fear. You will still feel guilt. You will still want to be liked. But your strength is in acting through discomfort, not avoiding it. Saying no will feel wrong until it feels right. Holding your boundary will feel harsh until it feels necessary. This isn't about becoming immune to emotion. It's about learning to lead despite emotion. If you're ready to keep building that emotional armor, subscribe now. Not just because you watched this far, but because deep down you're tired of being led by invisible strings. Next, we're stepping into the final transformation. How to take everything you've learned and build a life that's manipulation-proof. Because clarity isn't the end of the journey, it's the beginning. Most people want to be free, but very few are willing to do what freedom actually requires. Because here's the brutal truth. As long as you don't take full responsibility for your mind, someone else will. And that someone won't always look like a villain. Sometimes they smile at you. Sometimes they say, "I just want what's best for you." Sometimes it's your own voice, shaped by old stories and silent fears. Manipulation isn't just a tactic, it's an ecosystem. It lives in the beliefs you've never questioned, the guilt you inherited, the need to be accepted that governs your choices, the fear of conflict that erases your boundaries. Real freedom begins when you stop calling this normal. From here, there are only two paths. You can go back, scroll past this, forget it, keep calling it love, loyalty, kindness. Or you start today, training your mind, observing your patterns, setting boundaries so firmly that guilt can't shake them. You stop asking, "What will they think?" Start asking, "What's true for me?" Tonight before bed, ask yourself 3 questions. What decision did I make today that wasn't really mine? Who did I try to please at my own expense? What did I not say that I needed to? Write down the answers. That's where your chains are, and that's where you'll start cutting. Now, I want to hear from you. Comment below. What was the moment in your life that made you realize, I'm being manipulated? Was it a person, a job, a memory? Sharing your moment isn't weakness, it's clarity. And someone else might read your comment and wake up too. If this video gave you that wake-up call, subscribe now. So the next video will take you deeper into how to protect your mind in a world that profits off your confusion. You've seen behind the curtain now. You've seen the tools, the tactics, the theater. The strings are visible. The only question left is this: will you cut them? Will you reclaim your mind from the voices that have shaped it? Or will you pretend you didn't see? Because once you know the truth, you can never unknow it. Freedom isn't just walking away from control. It's choosing your own voice every time. And that choice begins right now. See you in the next video.